In the last video we covered very clearly about the basic introduction to DevOps. Already we did, sir. Okay, sir, why DevOps is required? Yes, already waterfall model is there. Next, agile model is there. Waterfall model versus agile versus agile, and then versus agile, and then sir DevOps. I told very clearly the differences between these models, why DevOps is the very popular. I covered in the first session, right? Sir, in the next, sir, we covered about, sir, version control. The first tool, sir, what we started, version control systems. We covered about this discussion, right? What is the need of version control systems? Sir, why what is the need? What is the need of version control systems? Okay, like we discussed how version control systems work. Sir, how the version control systems are going to work. Next, the basic terminology of version control systems, the basic terminology of version control systems we covered. Next, and after that, even version control system we covered. Next, what are various benefits of version control system? Okay, like we discussed about these things in the second session. I hope you people are in the position to understand clearly, right? Yes, up to this, any doubt, any explanation is required for you people, right? So just these two things, right? But anyway, here, so just 2 minutes, let me review, because very important, right? Can you please spell out what are various benefits are there for the version control system? Anyone, can you please tell, sir? Sir, we can maintain what the main benefits, right? We can maintain different versions. We can maintain different versions of our software product, so that based on our requirement we can choose any version. Okay, sir, new version won't overwrite old version. Remember this one, sir. Next, every change should be tracked. Correct or not? Every change should be tracked. Okay, who did the change? Next, when who did the change? Next, when he did the change, when he did the change. Next, sir, what changes he did? Okay, like everything should be tracked, like tracking is there. Next, and after that, okay, the developers can work in collaborated way. Okay, have you observed, right? In collaborated way. Okay, developers will work, multiple developers, they can work in collaborated way. Okay, like next, and after that, it enables parallel development. Have you remembered, right? It enables parallel development. Okay, like so that we can complete the project development within the less time, and so on. So n number of advantages are there for the version control systems. Compulsory, in real time, compulsory we have to use a version control system, sir, while developing our code. Any doubt about this? Please confirm. Are you in the position to understand, right? In the last session, all these things I covered very clearly, sir, very clearly, right? Okay, like next, and after that, this basic terminology of version control system, it is the very important, sir, to continue further even in today's session also. Okay, what the basic terminology, right? Sir, I covered about workspace. Okay, workspace or working directory. Have you remembered? Next, I covered about the most valuable, very important thing, sir. What is that? Repository. Regarding what is that? Repository. Next, and after that, commit. Next, and after that, I have used the word checkout. Okay, these are four words also very important, sir, for further continuation. Any doubt about this, sir? Workspace or working directory? What about repository? What about commit? And what about checkout? Okay, very simple terminology here. Just observe carefully, right? Suppose here, just assume that this is my working directory. Okay, whatever files I want to create, here I require to create my files. Assume that, sir. Okay, these are various files. Okay, sir, whatever files we are going to create, whatever files we are going to modify, all those things, where it will be there, sir? Version will be there in working directory. Sir, working directory, some people may use the word workspace. Okay, workspace holds the files which are created or which are developed by okay developer, right? Any doubt about this one, sir? Here one small thing is there. Okay, here just if you observe, assume that it is the repository. Okay, assume that it is the repository, right? Okay, inside the repository also, inside the repository also, of course our files are available. Okay, our files are available, right? So in the repository also our files are available. But what is the difference between working directory and the repository? Anyone, can you please tell? Very, very important. To continue further, this difference must be compulsory. You people should be aware, sir. What is the difference between working directory and repository? Ah, Ashutosh. Yes. What the difference between these two things, right? Can you please spell out? Yes. Okay, here very simple, sir. Working directory, sir, not having version control. Remember this one, sir. Not having working directory, not having version control. Okay, version control. Here we never going to talk about. We never going to talk about versions. Array first version, second version, such type of terminology. Versions terminology not applicable. Not applicable. Okay, remember this one. So version control, such type of terminology is not there here. Okay, next sir, next versions, first version, second version, such type of things are not applicable. But in repository, all files are under version control. All files are under version control. Here we will maintain different versions. Okay, we will maintain different versions based on our requirement. We can choose the required version. Okay, like sir, here also files are available, here also files are there, but here also files are there, but here the files will be stored in the form of versions. Remember a bit very, very carefully about this one, sir. Sir, all files are under version control. Remember, here we can talk about first version, second version, third version, like that's all. Any doubt? So what is the difference between working directory and repository? So once you have repository, then only version control is available. Just like a workspace, only with workspace you never going to get version control. Okay, clear? I hope these first two words are clear. Next what is about commit, sir? Commit means, sir, I developed some files. My work got completed. I have to save these files. Okay, for the future purpose. What I have to take is you have to send these files from working directory to repository for versioning purpose. Are you getting right? We have to send our files from working directory to repository for versioning purpose. Okay, sir, this operation is by default considered. Yes, can you please spell out what is this operation, sir? Commit, commit operation, right? Commit means sending files from working directory to repository at very top level general terminology, right? Remember this a bit carefully, sir. But in the git maybe small differences are there, maybe in the clear cases small differences are there, but this terminology, the general terminology which is applicable for any version control systems. Okay, like sir, tomorrow I want version 2. Assume that, sir, I want version 2, sir. These version 2 files I want to move from repository to current working directory. Okay, this process, the process of bringing the files from repository to current working directory, this process is by default considered, yeah, checkout. Remember that this process is by default considered as what? Checkout. Is it clear for all of you, right? These four words are very, very important, sir, to continue further. Okay, but anyway, all these things I covered very clearly in the last session, not required to keep much explanation about this terminology, right? Okay, well, sir, now in today's session, what we have to talk, sir? Sir, these basics already we discussed, sir. What is the need? What is the need of version control system? How version control system works. Next, and after that, here, next, the basic terminology related to version control system. Next, what are various benefits are there? These things we covered. Now, the next important thing, sir, types of version control systems. Types of version control system. This part we have to discuss, right? Remember this, sir. All version control systems, are divided into, sir, two types. Remember this one, sir. All version control systems are divided into how many types? Can you please spell out? Respond. How many types? Two types. Two types, right? Sir, the first one is centralized. Observe carefully, sir. The first one is centralized version control system. Centralized version control system is the first one. Sir, if the first one is the centralized, you can guess automatically what the second one. What the second one? Here the first one is the centralized. Obviously, what is the second one, sir? Can you please confirm? Sir, centralized means decentralized. Okay, decentralized. Okay, like sir, the second model is decentralized, which is also known as distributed version control systems. Okay, like so all version control systems are divided into two types, right? Based on working style. Okay, how they are going to work based on that. Two types of version control systems are there. The first one, centralized version control system. Second one, sir, decentralized or distributed version control system. Is it clear for all of you, right? Two categories are there. But what is about these things, right? Okay, like how the functionality, like next one more thing you should be aware, sir, one thing is enough. One thing is enough. Why we have second one? Anyone, can you please tell? If second one also came in the picture means general idea. What? Array, with the first one, there are some problems got raised. To overcome these problems, we should go for second one. Yes, usually it is the general tendency or not. If two things are there, two models are there, in the first one, assume that in the first one, okay, there are some problems are there. To overcome these problems, we have to go for second one. Yes, your assumption is the correct. The same, which problems are there in the first one, how you can overcome these problems in the second, we are going to discuss in detail. Don't worry at all, sir. Okay, like sir, now let me go for the first one, centralized version control system. Can I go further up to this? Any doubt? Please confirm. How many types of version control systems are there? Two types, sir. In that, the first category is the centralized, second category is the decentralized or distributed. Sir, what is the working style? How the functionality of these and what problems are there? What positives are there? We have to perform post-mortem. Okay, like now the here just observe a bit carefully about one important terminology, right? Sir, centralized version control system. The name itself indicates, sir, centralized. What is the meaning of centralized? Respond. Respond. Sir, here in this, we are using centralized. What is the meaning of centralized? The name itself indicates this type of version control system contains only one only one, sir, only one repository. Are you getting right? Only one repository. Okay, like sir, working directories maybe multiple things are there, no problem at all. But this repository will be only one central repository. Only one central repository. Okay, that's why only one central repository. Every developer is required to connect with that, and sir, to connect with that to continue his work. Remember this one, sir. So here in the centralized version control system, how many repositories are there? Only one repository. Even 100 developers are there, 1,000 developers are there, but how many repositories are there? Only one repository. Only one repository, right? Only one central repository will be there. Every developer is required to connect with them to continue his work. Remember this a bit very carefully, sir. Here, just observe this a bit carefully, right? Okay. Now I'm taking, assume that this is a central repository server. The machine on which central repository is there. Okay, like central Okay, central repository server. Okay, in the central repository, the data will be stored in the form of versions. I hope you people may aware, right? Yes, friends. Sir, version database like versions will be there in the repository. Is the responsible to maintain our files in the form of versions. Okay, assume that this is the version 1. Okay, like sir, now assume that this is the version 2. Okay, like next and after that, assume this is the version 3. Like multiple versions by default will be there. Okay, assume that, sir. Sir, now all the developers, okay, assume that there are multiple developers are there. Assume, sir, this is a developers workspace. Okay, assume that this is the developers workspace, right? Okay, developers, developers workspace, developers workspace or working directory. Any word you can use, right? No problem at all, sir. This is the developers workspace, like I'm taking, sir. Now here in this developers workspace, whatever files he required, he will get the files from the central repository and he will work. Okay, assume that, sir, here there are several files are available. Okay, sir, there are several files. What he is going to provide to the central repository, or he will get the files from the central repository. Like now observe this, sir. If a developer is required to work, what he will do is he will connect with the central repository, and he will get the required files, and he will start working on those files. Now observe very carefully, this process is the very important, sir. How the developer will get the files? How the developer will get the files? Two ways. He may create new file, or he will get from the repository. Okay, anyway, sir, after completing his total work, now he has to commit that work to central repository. Remember this a bit carefully, sir. Sir, getting files from central repository to the working directory, this process is by default considered as, can you please confirm? Can you please confirm this process is by default considered as what? Check out. Okay. Have you observed, right? This process is by default considered checkout. Now, sir, once the developer completed his work, he has to, sir, send these files to the central repository for versioning. Okay, for tracking sake. Okay, this process is by default considered. Yeah. What is this operation, sir? Please guide. I forgot to commit. Okay, like any doubt about this one? Please confirm up to this. So the developer's mission contain the files, what where is whatever the files on which files he is working, only those files are there, but the total code will be available in the central repository. Remember a bit carefully, sir. Like how many developers will be there, sir? Okay, maybe a chance multiple developers are there. Okay, just observe carefully, right? Okay, sir, multiple developers are there. Okay, like now developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, like developer 4, multiple developers are going to work. So all these developers, every time he required to communicate with the central repository, he will get some files. After completing the work, he will commit those things to the central repository. Sir, any doubt about this diagram? Can you please confirm? Please observe that. So everything is available, yet every our code is available, total code is available at a central repository. That's why this model is considered a centralized, okay, version control system. So version control is happening at only one place. Version control is happening at only one place. That place is a central repository. Okay, like sir, now it is a very easy to use, it's very easy to set up, sir. So I hope why the word centralized is that clear for all of you, right? Yes, friends, any doubt about this one? Okay, now can you please tell the total work, the total project, the total project code will be stored where? Please confirm, you have to tell, will be stored where? Will be stored in the total project code will be stored in central repository. Correct or not? The total project code will be stored in central repository. Developer will connect with that central repository server and he will get some files. He will work on those files. After completing his work, he will send those files to the repository. Okay, like next, all operations. Okay, like sir, this is checkout, commit, all these operations will be performed on the central repository, but not in the developer's workspace. Okay, remember the developer workspace in this model is the dummy which contain only working files. Okay, like next, this type of version control system is very easy to set up, very easy to set up, and easy to use, and easy to use. Remember this one, sir. This type of sir version control system is very easy to set up and very easy to use. Sir, have you ever heard about CVS? I respond, CVS. I hope you people may heard about CVS. Yes, a CVS is one type of version control system tool. Remember that CVS. Okay, next and after that SVN. Next and after that purpose. Okay, just aware the words. The people who don't know, the people who are very beginners who don't know, who are not having real-time experience, this terminology just you should aware. Sir, in companies, the people who are working already in the companies, you people can aware. CVS, SVN, purpose, next clear case, okay, clear case, TFS, all these things are, all these tools are based on centralized version control system. Remember that CVS, if you want to learn CVS, SVN, clear case, purpose, all these tools are based on centralized version control system model only. Clear, right? So there are multiple tools are there, sir. Almost, do you know, just very recently this distributed came, but before that years the people worked on these models only. I mean, with these tools only. Okay, like so, how centralized version control system? What is the functionality of this? How many repositories are there? How the developers are going to connect, and so on. Everyone got the basic idea about this with this diagram. Any explanation is required? Clear, I hope. Regarding the functionality basic idea, everyone got. Now my question is, I told already at the beginning, Array, if two things are there, if two things are there, compulsory the first one having some limitations. That's why we have to go for second one, right? We have to go for second one. Something like the king married second marriage. Okay, second marriage, even though he has first wife, but still he's going for second marriage for second wife. Are you getting? So maybe he's not feeling comfortable with the first wife. Okay, the king is not feeling that much comfortable with the first wife. That's why he is going for alternative second type of model. Okay, like a decentralized or distributed version control. Now my question is, which problems are there? Which problems are there with the centralized version control system? Limitations. Okay, limitations of this centralized version control system. Okay, like sir, can you please confirm what is the problem number one? We will list out easily, you can understand, nothing will be there, sir. Sir, the first problem, sir, here the total project code is available where? Is available where? The total project code is saved at a central repository. Regarding a central repository, tomorrow, if something happened to the central repository server, regarding if something happened to this central repository server, then recovery, is it easy or difficult? Can you please confirm? Is it recovery? Is it easy or difficult? Yes, definitely it is difficult. Remember this one, sir. Remember this. Compulsory, it's a difficult because everything stored at single place, but something happened to that place, then it's always a bigger problem, friend. Okay, like so limitations. Remember that the first limitation, the total project, the total code stored at a single place, stored at a single place, central server, central repository. Okay, if something goes wrong, to this central repository server, the recovery is difficult, which causes a single point of failure. Remember this one, which is the very dangerous. If you identified single point of failure, if something happened to this centralized server, then automatically the total system is going to be, the total environment is going to be collapsed. Remember, single point of failure, there is a chance. If something goes wrong, if something goes wrong, okay, goes wrong, recovery is very difficult. Recovery is very difficult. Is it clear for all of you, right? First one, first one, okay, because all the things are available at same place. If something goes wrong, then recovery is the very difficult. This is first problem, okay, with this model, right? Now the second problem, sir, this is also very important, sir. Sir, if I want to, I'm the developer A. Assume that I'm the developer A. I want to perform checkout operation. How you can perform checkout operation? You have to connect with the, where respond, you have to connect with the remote remote repository server, central repository server, okay, and then over the network, because don't feel central repository server is available in your local machine. It's available somewhere at a remote location. You require to connect via network to the central repository server, and then you have to get, you require to get those files, okay. Well, checkout operation should be happen over the network by connecting with the remote server, okay. Like, next, I want to perform, yes, I did my required changes. I want to commit these changes. Again, where commit operation should be performed, right? Can you please tell where the commit operation should be performed? Again, commit operation should be performed on central repository server. Remember, a bit very carefully, right? Now, sir, all check out and commit operations, all checkout and commit operations will be performed by connecting with the remote central repository server, remote central repository server line. All checkout and commit operations will be performed by connecting with the central repository server, okay. Like, now, so the central repository server, that is, so all developers should be connected with the central repository always, correct or not? Central repository always should be connected, sir, because every version control operation should be performed with the central repository server only, okay. So compulsory should be connected, sir. Checkout operation, you require to connect. Commit operation, you require to connect. Checkout operation, you require to connect. Commit operation, you require to connect. Then automatically, so central, that is, all developers should be connected with the central repository always. By mistake, if network outage, if network outage, sir, network down, what will happen? Have you observed, right? What will happen if the network outage, sir, okay, there is a problem came in the network, network is down, what will happen now? Have you observed the problem? Now version control won't be there for the developers. Have you observed? Version control won't be available for the developers. I hope, are you seeing, are you imagining the problem, right? Yes, friend. Are you visualizing the problem, right? If there is a network outage, maybe a chance. If there is a network outage, version control won't be available for the developers. Remember that a bit very carefully, right? Okay. So compulsory, sir, developers mission, developers workspace, and the central repository should be connected always. If there is any network outage, version control won't be available for the developers. Sir, do you know sometimes you went to the bank, this type of problems are there. You went to the bank, sir, I want to deposit some amount. Sometimes you may got server down, okay, server down, can you please come after server down, can you please come after 1 hour, after some time, like, okay. If you are going for registration office, Okay, registration office to register some land or otherwise some place you want to register, sir. If you are going for registration office, sometimes you may get sir, server down, sorry, registrations are not going to be happen. Sir, when the server will up, I don't know, maybe today or tomorrow sometime. Have you ever faced this type of problem? Yes, friends. Have you ever faced this type of problem? Server down, server down, something like that. So if the network outage is there, then this developer's workspace, sir, developer can't communicate with the central repository server. Then automatically, do you know? So version control are not available to the developer's mission until network again, sir, until network availability, compulsory this developer is required to wait. Okay, there is no other alternative at all. So either clear? Any doubt about this second problem? Yes, Ashutosh, we will discuss that part. Yes, are you seeing any doubt about this problem? Can you please confirm? Either clear, right? What the meaning of outage? Normal outage means network down. Network down. There is a network failure. That a technical word outage, like if network outage is there means. Okay, clear. Next, third very important thing, sir. Third one very important point, sir. Observe carefully, sir. Commit operation and a checkout operation. If you want to perform commit and checkout operation, compulsory. Okay, we have to connect with the central repository server or not? Yes, yes. All commit and checkout operations will be performed by connecting with the remote central repository server only. Okay, like all checkout and commit operations will be performed by connecting with remote central repository server. Okay, like now, so means the operations should be performed over the network. Remember this, the operations will be performed over the network, and these are not local operations. Remember this one, sir. These are not local operations. Sorry, in your mission I want to perform commit, sorry man. In your mission I want to perform checkout, sorry. Compulsory to perform commit or to perform checkout, you require to connect with the remote repository. These are not local operations. Once these are not local operations, so the operation is going to take much time, which affect the performance. Regarding performance is sir low because of this network issue, right? Okay, so because the operations are not local, remote operations we require to perform, definitely it is going to sir take some time. That's why the speed is very low, or performance is low. Okay, like you should aware. Clear? Any doubt? Are you in the position to understand, right? Okay, the third problem. Now the fourth problem, sir. Okay, very important, sir. Everything is going to be available at a central repository server. Organization of central repository server is very difficult if number of developers increases, or number of files are huge. If huge number of developers are otherwise, if number of developers increases, okay, or number of files increases for version control, number of files increases, then organization of central repository is a bit difficult. Organization of central repository is a bit difficult. Remember this a bit carefully, sir. Sir, for the if less number of developers are there, if less code is there, then no problem at all. If tomorrow instead of 100 developers, 1000 developers are required to work, it will become huge project. There are huge number of files I require to maintain for version control. Then automatically this centralized okay version control system is completely hands up. Sorry, I can't provide support. Clear, right? Are you seeing multiple problems with this central repository, centralized version control system or not? Yes, the first problems are single point of failure. Remember this one. If something goes wrong to the central repository, there is a bigger problem. Recovery is not that much easy. Next, client mission and repository mission, developer mission, repository mission should be connected always. By mistake network outage is there, then automatically there is a bigger problem is going to come. Okay, like next the third one, sir, the operation should be performed remotely but not locally. That's why performance impact is also there. If the number of developers increases, the number of files per version control increases, then central repository organization of central repository server is become more complex. That's why for small projects or for small application, this type of model is good. If a huge number of developers are required to work, if it is a big project, this model is not at all recommended. Clear? Are you in the position to understand why the king goes for second marriage? Are you getting? So he's not happy with his first wife. That's why he's going for the second marriage. But the reason for that, these are the problems, okay, with the first wife. Now it's a very clear for you people, right? Okay, but anyway, there are multiple tools, man. This is not so don't underestimate this model. This model is also provides good support, but up to certain level. If for huge projects, this model is not at all recommended. CVS, SVN, purpose, clear case, next TFS, like all these tools, all these tools, do you know, is already all these tools are based on centralized version control system only. Remember clearly, right? Okay, now here, to overcome these limitations, we have to go for decentralized or distributed version control system. Are you getting right? What is the second one we have to talk? Sir, distributed version control system. Remember this a bit carefully, sir. Sir, in this first diagram, are you feeling any difficulty to understand this one? Yes, friends. Everyone feels comfortable, right? Nothing, no unknown thing, no Greek and Latin. Easy, understandable thing only. Okay, like now here, let me go for second model. How this model answer all the problems whatever we have in the central model. Okay, like in the centralized version control system, which problems are there, like I will discuss. Now observe very carefully about this one. Now observe carefully, right? Sir, here the first one, centralized. Which one is the centralized? Friend, which one is the centralized? Ayo, you have to tell. The first one is the centralized. Which one is the centralized? Why you are silent? Respond. Repository is the centralized. A single repository we are maintaining for all the developers, right? Now the second one is distributed. Sir, now which is the distributed? Have you observed which is the distributed? Again, can you please tell what which thing got distributed, right? Now again repository, again repository is distributed. Again repository is distributed. Okay, like sir, now what is the meaning of this one, sir? Okay, if four developers are there, how many repositories are there in the first model? Respond. If four developers are there, how many repositories are there in the first model? Only one repository. If four developers are there, okay, if four developers then are there then how many repositories will be there? Then can you please spell out, sir? If four developers are there, then how many repositories will be there? Okay, four repositories will be there. Remember this one, four repositories will be there. But there is one concept named with remote repository. If it is there, plus one. Anyway, as of now, don't worry about much. But just to simplify that, sir, if four developers are there, then how many repositories are there? Four repositories are there. The name itself indicates distributed. In this single line, you can understand what is the meaning of distributed. Correct, friends? Are you in the position to understand that what is the meaning of distributed single line itself is going to tell. Now the repository is not centralized. Remember carefully, right? Okay. Now here, how this model is going to work? Let me explain, right? Okay. What can you please just spell out? This is a working directory. Assume that, sir. Sir, this is the developer's working directory or workspace. Working directory or workspace. You can use any word, no problem at all. Sir, in the previous model, working directory contain only files. Okay, no versions. Versions kind of thing is not there. Okay, like, but in distributed version control system, every workspace has a local repository. Remember a bit very carefully, sir. Every workspace has a local repository. Okay, remember this, sir. This word itself is very, very important, sir. What is this word? Can you please spell out, sir? Respond. What is this word? What is this one, sir? This one itself is a local repository. Local repository. Okay. Every workspace contain local repository. Okay, like, now take very, very special care. If for 10 developers are there, in every developer has his own local repository, then so there is no question of centralized repository. Up to this, any doubt? Okay, all versions will be maintained, sorry, all these versions will be maintained in this local repository. Okay, like, these are versions. Okay, I hope you can understand from the previous diagrams. These are the versions, right? Okay, it is the local repository. Next, sir, here in this working directory, he is going to work with the files. Whatever is going to work, the files here. Now take very special care. He want to perform checkout operation. Sir, developer is required some files to work. Developer is required some files to work. So where he will perform checkout operation? Please respond. Where he will perform checkout operation? The checkout operation will be performed from the local repository. From the local repository. Yes. Have you observed? He is not required to connect with any remote machine. He is not required to connect with any remote central repository. Such checkout operation will be performed here only. Next. Sir, he worked on some files. He want to perform commit operation. He want to perform commit operation. Can you please tell on which mission he is required to perform commit operation? In the same mission or not? In the same, because, sir, in the same local, okay, commit. So checkout operation and commit operation will become local operations, and these are not remote operations. Remember this one multiple times. If the developer is required to perform checkout 10 times, so 10 operations are local only, not remote operations, right? Sir, he required to perform commit 10 times. 10 times it will become local operation only, but not remote operation. Then obviously, can you please tell what is the advantage? Yes, friends. Can you please tell what is the advantage? Advantage in this model? Yes, you have to tell. I don't know. I don't know about. So here the biggest advantage, sir, all commit and the checkout operations will be performed locally. Are you getting? Checkout and commit operations will be performed locally, and hence performance is more. Okay, performance is more. Okay, like, sir, this is the first one. Okay, now the second one. Okay, next, the second one, sir, performance is more. Okay, speed operations will become very speed, sir. We are not required to wait some time. Okay, like, no. Next, sir, here, if the network outage is there, no problem, in your local repository you require to perform. So even network outage, even network outage is there, network outage, still version control is available or not? Can you please confirm? Even network outage, still version control is available or not? Yes, available. So the client mission, I mean developer's mission, and the developer's mission is not, so need not be connected always. Suppose here even remote repository is there for just for sharing sake. Okay, that model I will discuss soon, don't worry at all. So network issues much won't be there. Okay, like this is the second. Next, every developer every developer has his own local copy. Have you observed? Every developer has his own local repository. That's why there is no question of single point of failure. Single point of failure, correct or not? Array developers a mission gone. Okay, no problem at all. That repository is already available at the developers b. So he will take that repository and he will continue his work. Yes friend, is there any chance of single point of failure? No, there is no question of single point of failure. Okay, like that. So majority of the problems already addressed, but here one small issue is going to come with this. What is that? I will spell out. Sir, up to this any doubt? Can you please confirm? all the operations all the operations will be performed all the operations will be performed locally. That's why performance is more. Next, and after that, even network outage, still version control is available. Okay, version control is available. Okay, like next, there is no question of single point of failure because every developer has his own local repository. Because repository is available. Repository is available on every developer's mission. Okay, like so that's why on every developer's mission repository is available. Okay, like sir, clear, right? Up to this? Okay. So if you feel comfortable, next there is one small issue is there. That issue we are going to discuss. Of course it is not issue, that is the next level discussion, right? Sir, up to this any doubt? Can you please confirm once? All the people are in the position to feel comfortable? Okay, listen very carefully about this. These words are very important, sir. Okay, like now my next question here, observe that, sir. Okay, commit operation, checkout operation, all these things are happening so within the same system only, from working directory to repository, something like it's okay. But now my question is, how multiple developers can work in collaborated way? How this developer can share his work to other peer developers? That is a important issue, correct or not? So that's about your doubt. Okay, sir, in the earlier diagram, okay, all the developers are going to connect with the same repository. That's why there is no problem. But here, what is the issue? Observe that carefully, sir. Here, don't worry at all. Here also, multiple developers are going to work, sir, together in collaborated way. Sir, how it is going to be happen? Can you please explain? Like you may ask, sir, very simple. Here, just listen this terminology, right? Okay. Now this is working directory. Okay, let me take this is the developer 2. Next, and after that, let me take this is the developer 3. Okay, this is the developer 3. Next, and after that, here this is the developer 4. Okay, like there are 4 developers are working, sir. Every developer has his own local copy. Okay, well, excellent. Okay, now here just observe that if a developer a if a developer a want to share his code, okay, developer a want to share his code to the developer b. That's about my requirement, right? Okay, how we can do that? No problem at all. Now he can push his repository to sir developer other developers repository. Okay, this operation is by default considered as, what is this one, sir? Push operation, right? Very important, sir. So if you want to send changes of your repository to others repository, to other developers repository, which operation we require to perform? Can you please tell what is that operation? Hey, respond. What is that operation? Can you please spell out? Push operation. Yes, it is the Git related terminology, friends. So we are going to use thousands of times this word. That's why you people should aware. Push operation, right? Okay. So that whatever changes he did in his repository, all these changes will be merged in this repository. Remember carefully. Okay, like similarly, suppose I don't want to push. Array, developer B, developer B, you did some changes, right? Can you please, I want your changes. I want your changes. Can you please, you can pull the changes from others repository, sir, to your local repository. Yes, sir, this one is also possible. This operation is by default considered as pull operation. Okay, remember that. What is the first operation? Hey, respond. Very important. What is the first operation? Push operation. What is the second operation? Pull operation. Pull operation. These words are very important. What is the push operation? What the push operation is doing? The process of sending files from our repository to other repository is by default considered as push operation. Okay, like next the pull operation, the process of getting files from other repository to our local repository is nothing but pull. Okay, any doubt? Any doubt? Don't get confused. Okay, here some people may have the bigger doubts, sir. Sir, commit and checkout. Sir, commit and checkout. These operations, these operations will be performed, will be performed locally between working directory, between working directory and repository, and repository. Correct or not? Can I use the word? Is it correct or not, sir? Where these operations will be performed? Commit and checkout operations will be performed locally between working directory and the repository. Sir, these operations are commit operation and checkout operations, right? These operations like so between like so to perform these operations, operations, network is required or not required? Network is network is it required or not required? Can you please confirm? Network is not required. Network is not required. Remember this one, sir. Okay, like next, what is about push and pull operation? Push and pull operations, right? Okay, sir. Very important, right? Yeah. How to get a old code which is not in developer's local repository? Yes, that's what Manish, we will discuss that. Don't worry at all. Just observe the words first. Okay, like now here just observe that push and pull operations, right? Sir, push means what is the meaning? Can you please tell from this diagram? Can you please tell what is the meaning of push? The process of sending files from our repository to others repository. Correct or not? Okay, the process of sending files from our repository to others, from our repository to others means other developers, peer developers, right? Repository like next, what is the purpose of pull operation? Pull operation. Okay, pull means the process of, can you please tell the process of getting files from others repository others repository to local repository, to local repository, others repository to local repository. This operation is by default considered a pull operation, right? Okay, first aware this. Now if you observe at a very top level, sir, push operation is happening from this repository to this repository. Pull operation is happening from this repository to this repository. Okay, like that's why. So these operations, push and pull, will be performed between two repositories. Remember a bit very carefully, right? Two repositories. Okay, not between working directory and the repository. Are you seeing the difference? Commit and checkout are local operations. Push and pull will be performed between two repositories. These are remote operations. Correct or not? Yes, friends, can you please confirm these are remote operations or not? Remote operations, right? Compulsory network must be there. Okay, to perform these operation, compulsory network must be there. Okay, like then immediately must, sir, in distributed model also network must be required. Array, sir, 1 lakh check out and 1 lakh commit operations you are going to perform. Just 2 to 3 pull operations, 2 to 3 push operations you are going to do. Okay, just very rare. The number of push and pull operations are very less when compared with the checkout and commit. That's why very rare we required network. Remember this one. That's why these are very rare operations, right? Sir, friends, these words are very important. Please take a bit special care. I'm spending huge time to inject these points in your mind. Any doubt? Clear for you people? Any explanation is required about this? Okay, push and pull. Next, and after that, commit and checkout. So now in the distributed model, there is a way to share our changes to other developers. Yes, how we can perform those changes, how you can perform, how you can share our code to other peer developers. Is push and pull operations are available. Remember this one, sir. If you want, this person can perform push operation, pull operation, like so. There is a way to share our code to peer developers in this. Now, this model is nothing but distributed model. Are you seeing anywhere centralized repository? Are you seeing anywhere centralized repository? No, no. There is no question of single point of failure. First thing. Next and after that, commit and checkout operations are performing locally. So which is increases performance wise speed will be increases, right? Performance is going to be improved. Okay, like next, even network outage is there. Still no problem at all. Version control is applicable because our local directory has repository. That's all. This model is nothing but decentralized or distributed version control system model. All the people are in the position to understand clearly. Any explanation is required? Yeah, Nirmal, that part we are going to discuss now. Sir, it's between two local repositories. Ketan, what that? What your doubt, Ketan? I didn't get it. Is there any many developers how integrity maintain, which is the final code for production? Yes, that's what we will consider. Here, Dev is asking, sorry, Yadav is asking a small doubt. Okay, this is, sir, there are many developers how integrity maintain, which is the final code for production. That's what we will come into the picture. Sir, up to this, okay, there are still some doubts are there. Sir, up to this is the clear right concept. So when compared with the centralized model, okay, distributed model, why it is going to be preferred? Okay, what advantages are there like in this? Okay, like, do you know which tools following this distributed model? Okay, there are multiple tools, right? Which tools? Anyone can you please tell? Git. Git is whatever we are going to discuss at the part of DevOps automation tool. Git we are going to discuss, right? Git is belongs to, okay, this decentralized distributed model. Next, have you heard about anything like Mercurial? Okay, have you ever heard about this one, sir? Mercurial. Okay, Mercurial. Okay, like Mercurial is also there. Next and after that, Fossil. Okay, like sir, Fossil, like sir, all these are various version control tools, okay, which are based on distributed model. Okay, Git, Mercurial, Fossil. Okay, like there are multiple models are available, multiple tools are available based on this model also. Okay, like next, there is one important point, sir. Fossil. Okay, like there is one important point is there. This point is going to answer, sir, several doubts, whatever you have in your mind. Okay, like now listen carefully, sir. Sir, just I want to change my diagram. Sir, between this diagram, between centralized model and the distributed model, is the clear for all of you, right? Sir, why push and pull is very rare? Yeah, Nirmal, you are going to get this because every time we are not going to change. Every time we are not going to share to the peer developers. Once our total work completed, then only we are going to share. Remember this. Once our total work got completed, then only we are going to share. Okay. So at the beginning, if we are not having any files, only one time we are going to perform pull operation. Now, so we will start working on that. Okay, like. So share to peer developers is definitely a bit a rare process when compared with the commit operation, when compared with the checkout operation. Okay, like, so these two diagrams. Okay, now I want to go for one more one more style. Of course it is the distributed style only. What that is? Distributed version control. It is a very important, sir. Distributed version control system with the remote repository. Okay, just observe this, sir, because most of the times in real time, distributed version control system with a remote repository, this model most of the people are always going to use. Remember that there is no change in our diagram, everything is the same. Okay, like, sir, what the difference is? Now listen carefully, sir. Very speedily I will draw this diagram so that you can get much clarity. Here just observe that. Just observe, sorry, just have a look once about this one. Okay, sir, here just this one is it is not combo. Normal, don't use the word it is a combo. It is a combo, sir. Distributed version control system with a remote repository, it is not mixed approach. Don't misunderstanding, this word is distributed only. Okay, like, sir, now it is the developer's mission. Sir, now here just I can use the word it is the local repository. Next, there are multiple versions I'm going to maintain. Just you can understand very easily, sir, these words. Okay. Next, and after that, here there are several files are there. Okay, like, sir, this is the developers A workspace. This is the workspace. Okay, like, I can use the word. Sir, in this diagram, everything you can understand, right? Please confirm. Everything you can understand, right? Sir, these are the files and so on. Everything you can understand. Okay, like, now here just observe that carefully, right? Okay, let me like this. Multiple developers are there. Okay, here one developer is there. Next, and after that, here another developer is there. Okay, like, next, and after that, another developer will be there here. Okay, like, four developers are there. Assume that, sir. Now, very very important, sir. Here we will maintain one remote repository. Here we will maintain one remote repository. One remote repository. Remote repository. Okay, like, a remote repository server. Okay, like. Next, here we will have multiple versions. Okay, version database will be available here, sir. This is version 0, version 1, version 2. Like, sir, this is remote repository will be there. Okay, like, now here these things are by default considered as versions. Okay, take very very special care about this one, sir. Version. Okay, version 1. Next, and after that, version 2, something like version 2. Next, version 3, like we have. Okay, now what I will do is, sir, at the beginning, assume that this developer not is the new developer, right? Assume that he's a new developer, right? He's not having anything, sir. He's not having anything. What he will do is he will, sir, he will perform which operation, right? Can you please tell? He will perform which operation to bring this repository to his workspace? Pull. Okay, at the beginning we can use the word clone. Okay, don't worry at all. As of now, just you can use the word pull, like, he will pull, like, sir. Now what will happen is this total repository, I mean whatever there in the central, by default will get for this, will get for this person. One minute, because just instead of copying. Okay, sir, this total repository by default, whatever repository, remote repository is there, now will come to the, sir, this workspace developers mission. Now he will perform checkout operation. from this local repository, perform several commit operations on this. Next, after completing all these, sir, whatever final code, if we want to share to his peer developers, then what this person is going to do is he will perform which operation, right? Can you please tell? Push operation. Okay, push operation, right? Now this developer B, sir, want to get updates, then what he is going to do? He will, okay, he will ask pull. Okay, if he is performing pull operation, all these updates will move from remote repository to local repository. Okay, like if we want to share to the peer developer, then he will perform which operations are push operation. Are you in the position to understand? Yes, friends. Okay, like now observe. Okay, there is a single place where our total code, okay, we are going to place where there is a single place here. Just observe, we are maintaining a remote repository. Like now my question is, okay, like sir, if any developer required code updates, he's connected with the remote repository and he's going to get updates. Next, once he got sir, his own local repository, then he can start working on that. Sir, here, can I use the word, is it centralized model? Please confirm. Is it centralized version control system? No. No. I can't use the word no. No, no, no. It is not centralized. It is not centralized version control system. What is the reason for that? Here, just observe that. Remote repository, here very, very important, sir. Remote repository versus centralized repository. There are n number of differences are there. Okay, like so you can't use the word this remote repository is the central repository, right? What is the reason for that? What is the reason for that is, in the centralized repository, where we are performing commit operation and checkout operation, please confirm. Commit operation and checkout operations are performing on centralized repository. Correct or not? Centralized repository. But in the case of remote repository, in this remote repository distributed model, where the commit and checkout operations are happening, commit and checkout operations are happening locally only, then how you can consider that it is a centralized version control system? Have you observed? That is one thing. So first difference here, first difference, commit commit and checkout operations, commit and checkout operations are performing on, commit and checkout operations are performing on sir, local repository, but not on remote repository. But not on remote repository. That's why remote repository, I can't use the word is the centralized repository. One thing. Next, second one, sir. If it is the centralized, okay, distributed, centralized version control, how many repositories will be there? In the centralized version control system, how many repositories will be there? Only one repository, only one. But here, how many repositories are there? How many repositories are there? Every developer has his own local repository. Every developer has his own local repository. Then where is the question of centralized? Okay. So every developer has sir his own local repository. Then where is the question of centralized repository? That's why even though by adding this remote repository server, don't feel, sir, it is a combo package, it is the distribute, it is the combo, something like no, no. Then immediately you ask, sir, okay, commit operations you are not performing, checkout operations you are not performing, so you won't perform any modifications here. Remember this one, you won't commit any changes here. Then what is the use of this remote repository? Just the main purpose of remote repository is to share changes for other developers. Are you in the position to understand? The main job of remote repository just to share our work to peer developers. That is the main purpose, right? So the main job of remote repository, the main job of remote repository is just to share our work, to just to share our code, our code to peer developers. Okay, just the peer developers, that's it. So don't misunderstanding by adding remote repository here, by adding remote repository here. Okay, like clear, right? Yes, Dev Yadav, I hope your doubt got clarified. Now sir, final project is going to be delivered from where? Final project is going to be delivered from where? From where? Okay, is from the remote repository. Final delivery is going to be happen. Final delivery of the project, sir, from where it is going to be happen? From the remote repository. But in the remote repository we never going to develop any code. The code development, commit operations, checkout operations, everything is going to be happen on the local machine. Okay, just to merge this repository with this remote repository, push operation we are going to use. Okay, to get this repository, to merge this repository to our local repository, pull operation we are going to use. Clear? Checkout and pull, commit and push. Nirmal, already I told. What is the difference between? What is the difference between, sir, commit and checkout, push and pull operations? Okay, commit and checkout operations always happening between working directory, and the local repository. Here commit and checkout operations will be there. Push and pull operations will be happen between workspace and then remote repository. Okay, like clear, right? Okay, in case of remote, push and pull operation will be limited. Once code is completed, tested, then only push will be done. Just that is the developers. If the developer level testing is completed, everything is fine, then he will perform push operation to the remote repository, developers level. Next, okay, like Nirmal. So push and pull operations are happening between two repositories. Remember that, local repository and a remote repository. Ashutosh, push and pull operations are happening between two repositories, local repository and a remote repository. These operations, push and pull operations, are performed between two repositories. These are remote operations. Compulsory network must be there. Next, commit and checkout operations will be performed locally between working directory and the repository. To perform these operations, network is not required. Clear, right? Next, the biggest advantage here is, so one developer can sit in the US, the other developer can sit in the UK, the other developer can sit in the India, somewhere else. No problem at all. Happily, without network, they can develop the code. So 10 days once or 20 days once, they are going to commit their work to the remote repository. I mean, they are going to share the work to the remote repository. Okay, like clear? This remote repository server is nothing but. Can you please give any example for remote repository servers? Remember this one. Remote repository server. Okay. Any? Can you please give any example for that? Yes, sir, the people who are working already. The people who are working already. Okay. Uh, having the idea. Remote repository server is best example. GitHub, we can use the word. Next, and after that, GitLab, we can use the word. Next, and after that, Bitbucket, we can use the word. Next, and after that, cloud platforms, like anywhere, sir, cloud platforms, like anywhere you can store. This is what. Yeah, clear. So not required to keep much explanation about this terminology. All the people are in the position to understand. Okay, how many types of version control systems are there? Two types, right? Centralized, decentralized. Next, with the centralized, what will happen? Decentralized, what will happen, sir? In the centralized repository, the total code will be placed in a single place. That thing is called centralized server. Remember a bit very carefully about this one, sir. The total code is going to be placed in a single place. That code itself is nothing but centralized repository. All commit operations and checkout operations will be performed, sir, remotely on the central repository server. So developers workspace not having any local repository. So that's why, so single point of failure, performance issues, network outage, then version control won't be there. N number of problems are coming. To prevent, to overcome these problems, we require to go for distributed version control systems. In the distributed version control system, okay, no question on central repository. There is no question. So every developer has his own local repository. All checkout and commit operations will be performed locally. Okay, so that there is no question of single point of failure. Next, and after that, sir, performance is more because all version control operations, commit and checkout will be happening locally. Okay, like next, and after that, network not required to be always. Okay, whenever we are performing push operation and pull operation, then only network must be required. Remember that, right? Okay, so this is what distributed model. What is the advantage, right? Okay, like next, sir, even I cover distributed model with the remote repository. Sir, here distributed model with remote repository, don't feel that, okay, it is the centralized repository model. No, here, sir, just to share developers code to the peer developers, this model came in the picture. This remote repository we are going to use. Okay, like so beyond that, nothing, sir. Sir, commit operation and checkout operation, everything is going to be happened locally only. Only push and pull operations are performing, sir, remotely. Okay, like so that's all. This is about what you people should aware clearly, right? Any doubt? Sir, now, sir, Viraj is asking a small question. Okay, sir, is a doubt is, just observe that. Sir, I'm downloading from GitHub means a pull operation. Yes, you are performing pull operation, or there is some operation is there named with clone. A small difference is there. That part we are going to discuss in detail, not at this stage. Just pull means you are getting code from the remote repository to the local repository. That's it. Clear? Any doubt about this one? Okay, Ashutosh will be discussed at next level. Okay, that's all, friends. So this is about what are various types of version control systems. Okay, like in the next session, yes, we are ready to go for the version control system tool, Git. This concept we are going to discuss almost around the next 10 days. We are going to perform postmortem on this. Don't miss these sessions.